Hi, it's Melanie Benson here, host of New Era Success TV, and this is Dante. Dante, say hi. You might notice Dante has a reverse skunk going on. Dante got into the hair dye today and has dyed his little patch of his hair black. So that was a kind of an interesting thing for me, because as I was taking him out on his walk, I was noticing how I was explaining to all my neighbors why he has a big black patch right here on his head. And it made me think about some conversations I've had lately with some peers and colleagues and clients about looking good. And I, over the course of time, have really had to take a look at my compulsion to need to look good. Why has it been so critical for me to look good? And what is it that comes up inside of us that causes us to feel like we have to look good? I was talking to a client the other day, and she's really going through a rough time, and she was saying that, you know, right now one of the biggest things that she's facing is that as she's unraveling and really looking at some of the things that she's set up to trap her in a life that she doesn't necessarily want, she needs some space, she needs some downtime, and she doesn't have it, and she's afraid to fall apart, and what that might look like and be experienced by her clients. At the same token, she really needs the space to just unravel for a while. And you know, there's this part of each of us where we get so caught up and we make life-altering decisions based on how we're going to look to someone else, how someone else is going to interpret our choices. You know, recently I announced that I'm getting married, and I have to tell you, one of the single greatest challenges that I faced in this decision was, oh my God, what are people going to think when they find out I'm marrying my ex? And who cares, right? Like, who really cares? It's no one's business. But when it comes to how we show up in business, and there's this space of how people perceive us and the choices they make about us and our ability to serve them. And when we're in that space where there feels like there's a gap between who we're really being deep inside and what we perceive that people want us to be, that's when guilt and shame and blame and a real deep, like entrenched self-doubt comes up. You know, I heard the other day that over 90% of the women who have created significant success on this planet actually start with an extraordinary amount of fear that they'll be perceived as a fraud. There is deeply entrenched in many of us this, sorry, I had to throw the ball for Dante. There's this deeply entrenched part of us that we're just like so caught up in what do we have to do to please others. So as I've been going through my own journey these last 2 years of creating success on my terms, the first thing I had to do is I had to stop caring what other people thought. And I had to realize that as a natural part of marketing, we are going to either attract or repel. And the more authentic we are, and the more transparent we are, and the more that we just walk our truth and our authenticity every single day, and we say, I am going to focus on being me because I want to attract the people that is what they want anyway, our job gets so much easier. It's the facades and putting on all this stuff that makes it so like stressful inside. You know, when we think we have to be someone else and we're so worried what someone else is going to think about us, that's a lot of unnecessary stress. And if that's up for you, I'm really going to challenge you to take a look at why. Why are you letting that drive you? Why are you allowing who you are naturally to be anything less than perfect? And why are you trying to create something where you can't be yourself? When I used to work for Motorola during those 10 years, let me tell you, the person that had to go to work every day and the person I wanted to be at home, they were vastly different. There was an extraordinary amount of stress in that. If you've ever been in a relationship with somebody who's wanting you to be different than you are, there's a lot of stress feeling like who you are at the core of your being is not enough. We put enough pressure on ourselves every day. Why on earth would we create a business or a life where we can't be ourselves? That's toxic. It's draining, and it's not sustainable. So if you really are ready to step into creating success on your terms, you've got to take a look at that. Where are you making choices to surrender what you want for someone else and what you believe that they want from you? One of the signs that you're doing that is when you are layered with shoulds, layered with things that other people are asking you to do or tell you should do that don't feel exciting, motivating, and inspiring to you. Okay, so if you have a life full of shoulds, then you are probably caring way too much what other people think, and you're not doing what you want. You're doing what they want. And trust me, the bottom will fall out of that. A second sign that you may be caught up in what other people want from you and what other people are thinking, that you care what other people think, is that you tend to evaluate your success based on the feedback you get from others. I had to untangle that one myself because I was wired from a very early age to please the authorities. If I didn't please the authorities, if I didn't please the people that were in charge of my life as a child, there would be hell to pay, and life was not going to be good. So I learned it was safer to do what they said rather than to pay attention to what I wanted for myself. And that showed up as me being a fantastic people pleaser. It showed up as me being really good at being empathetic with other people and molding myself to be what they wanted. Well, all I did was die inside. You have to ask yourself, what am I doing that's setting me up to be not connected to my authenticity and to give my power away and care way too much what other people think? You have to unravel and unwire that if you want to create success on your terms. Now, the last thing I'd have you consider is, what do you really want? And if you've been in the dance of caring too much or following other people's doctrines for you, you may not even know yet. So I want to give you an exercise. This is a really powerful exercise. We do this with every step of our client engagements because I find it to be so powerful. And that is, I want you to start by imagining your life when it's in its most blissful state. What are you doing? How are you spending your time? What's the experiences that you're creating? Who are you with? How much do you work? How much do you play? Like when I did that exercise the first time, I realized I was not traveling nearly enough. It's like one of my bliss activities is floating in the ocean with a snorkel and fins on, and I'm just one with the fishes. And if I'm not doing that enough, then I'm not enjoying enough of the things that I work for. So what is it that you want? It's time to not just identify it, but claim it. It's time to not just know it, but create it. You can create it right now. You can make the step and the commitment today to create success on your terms, whatever that means to you. Not what I do, not what so-and-so does, not what your parents do, not what your partner wants, but what do you want? And if you're not living it, I want you to ask yourself why. Why on earth would you not create it? There is actually no reason that I could ever come up with, or you can come up with, that is worth not living it. I believe it was Joseph Campbell that said that many of us bargain away our life for security. And I think this is one of the things we do. We ask for the security of being loved and accepted by people in our life. And when we feel that's in jeopardy, we are willing to compromise and contort ourselves way too much. My request is that you stop doing that. This is Melanie Benson Strick for New Era Success TV. I'd love to hear your comments below. Tell me where you've done this, or tell me what you've done to stop doing that. And let's share this powerful way of rising above the noise, rising above the shoulds, and let's create success together.